think I got it again. All right, hello everyone. The Quarantine Diaries, episode 14, I believe. In studio, we have my co-host and everybody's favorite internet personality, Connor Hazelton. Connor, how you doing?
Wow, everyone's favorite. Didn't know that. I'm doing good. Going no hat today. First time, so I'm feeling a little vulnerable, but I feel good.
Yeah, big time hat podcast. Also in studio, we have our most senior reoccurring guest. I think this is his fifth or sixth appearance. We have Andy Giante. Andy, how you doing?
Doing great. Always a pleasure.
Great. And also, we have second timer from one of my favorite podcasts we've ever done. Shout out the Zoo podcast, John Arcangelo. John, how we feeling?
Great. Glad to be back.
Awesome. And we have a new person in studio. I'm very excited about this. This is officially the Quarantine Diaries Apocalypse Kitchen crossover. Matt Didiano, how you doing?
Happy to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Great. Haven't seen you since bio class. Feels really good.
Yeah, this is nice. Nice little reunion.
Absolutely. Connor, do you have anything
Mrs.
you want to get to, or do you want to set up your project?
Just two things I want to get to real quickly. It's been quarantine. It sucks a lot, but we're one day closer than we were yesterday, than everything being back to normal. So, and just a quick career question. It's a fun one, I would say. Who do you think has had the better career between these two gentlemen, Adam Sandler or Will Ferrell?
Wow. I mean, do you want to base it off of critical acclaim or just the amount of joy they bring people? Because I think that's
however you interpret the question.
I mean, I'd have to say, as far as the movies that I've gotten like the most pure enjoyment out of, I'd have to go Sandler. But you look at the success that Will Ferrell's had, I think it's a no-brainer.
I think I've laughed harder at Ferrell movies.
I don't think Will Ferrell's had as steep of a decline as Adam Sandler had. That would be my only input. After Big Daddy, like
you love Jack and Jill. I love Jack and Jill.
Mr. Deeds is a tremendous movie. I take great offense to that. I love Mr. Deeds.
See, I'm actually Team Sandler hasn't really had a decline. I love all of his Netflix movies. I think they're hilarious. So I'm Sandler through and through, despite Ferrell having bangers.
I like Grown Ups and I like That's My Boy. Those are fairly
new.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty much 1A and 1B. They're two of the funniest, like most entertaining people of our lives.
Yep.
I just think about the early days of like Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison. Those two are just
can't
like
beat them.
As good as like Anchorman and Old School and shit is. I'm going Sandler.
I like the recurring casts that Sandler uses. You gotta be cool. You gotta be whoever's loyal to their friends like that, and they're all like Buscemi in his movies is always hilarious.
Oh my god.
Yep.
That's a great point.
Great point.
I think that just determined the winner right there. And finally, who will have, when it's all said and done, who will have the better career? 1, LeBron James, or 2, the coronavirus? I mean, I'll tell you this: LeBron has not affected the world like the Rona has. Just saying, in such a short amount of time, too.
I think LeBron's going to have the longevity over Corona. Eventually, we're going to figure Corona out. We're going to develop a vaccine. LeBron's been dominating the league for how long? 16 years. People still can't stop him.
Corona's got a better hairline, though.
Yes, absolutely.
In fact, I just don't know if LeBron's impact has been this great. I think that's what it comes down to.
Well, LeBron's lost, 7 times in the finals, coronavirus with 0?
That's correct. Anyways, let's just jump right into the pod. Let's just jump into why we have everyone here. Because we're all big heist movie guys. We love them. So right now we are going to discuss how we would pull off a heist and what our roles would be in said heist. And who would like to start out? I think it's Andy. Your role would be what in our heist?
Well, I thought you were determining our rules.
Well, we just talked about it off air, but...
Okay. Well, I'm the getaway driver.
That is correct.
Yeah, I think... do you want to... What were you going to say?
Well, no, elaborate as to why you'd be the driver.
I don't know, man. I think I got a need for speed, but I'm careful with it. I'm not reckless. I'd be able to stay calm under pressure, and
Okay.
in that moment when I got to get us back to the hideout, that's you need to be keep the heart rate low, focus on what you're doing, but you can't drive like a fucking pussy either. You gotta pedal to the metal and get us
You're our driver.
from point A to point B.
They're closing the bridge.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
I think I'm the man for the job.
And when it comes down to it, if we're getting chased out of the bank or whatever we're pulling off the heist in, you're not the fastest of us, and so you're best suited driving. Just we're all thinking we had to say it. Has to be said. Has to.
If the chase moved to on foot, I'm the sacrifice, and
we're
I'm willing to do that. I will sacrifice myself for you guys.
You can take a pinch. You can take a
I'm
pinch.
not out
You ain't gonna
running
rat.
anybody.
You ain't gonna rat.
If I'm gonna do 6-7 years in county, that's fine. I ain't
Yeah.
snitching.
Dude, you're going to federal prison for robbery.
just a few quick years in Allegheny County.
He thinks he's just sitting next to kids hitting mailboxes with baseball bats.
All right, Kyle. We have our driver. You are our what?
Well, speaking of unathletic members of the group, I would definitely be second. Andy's more athletic than me too, but just in terms of roles, I'd definitely be the tech guy here. There'd be a scene in the movie where I'm kind of explaining something to you guys. I can just see it now. You guys yell at me to say it in English. It happens in every heist movie, and it'll happen here. But yeah, I could just see myself in the van, kind of giving you guys recon, tapping into the computers here and there, and that's easy. Very easy, my role. I'm the tech guy on this podcast, even though it really just, I won't give away my secrets, but just.
Didiano, where do you fall into this heist?
Yeah, so, I work in tech, and I had kind of two opinions on where I'd sit.
Let's hear them
was
both.
like, well, I figured you could be like the systems guy, either the guy who's planning out the operation from like a technological perspective or how they're going to gain entry to all those secure systems. That's one option, but I think my talents are really going to shine in the guy who handles crowd control, because I'm not afraid to handle the guy who's got to be a hero. It happens in every movie, and I'm ready for him. I've thought about him a lot.
Crowd control.
It's perfect. It really is. You're talking to the bank tellers, shaking them down.
Yeah.
Keeping everybody calm, but you're letting them know you're in charge.
Is there a right answer? Do you have our roles mapped out?
No, we're just kind of go with what you feel.
You said the right answer.
For me, I feel like I'm the one who can totally fuck the entire thing up. I'm the unhinged one.
You took mine.
See, I was thinking about this of like, it was between Connor and John. Who's the wild card?
I mean, we say the loose cannon. Yeah,
the loose cannon.
Yeah.
I mean, we can have two loose cannons. Who fucking cares? Like,
right.
I picture us both as like a watered down gem from the town.
Oh,
where,
exactly. Yeah.
Where
is that Jeremy Renner?
Yeah, like the one scene where they have Ben Affleck when they're robbing the truck, and he's like, "Let your friend go," and then he just shoots the cop. Yeah. Except like I'll just completely miss and like shoot John, like that. Like so, I mean, but at the same time, I know I'm the most expendable one here, and if we're about to get caught, I'll just sacrifice myself and shoot a cop and go down at guns a-blazing. I'm ready to die. Not even just go to jail. Just take me out. I've got nothing else to live for.
I did envision you as the first one to die, because we're not all going to survive.
No. I know if one of us has to go, like, boys, I know it's me.
So I was going to build off of Connor's. I was going to say the same thing. I'm the guy that comes in. We're probably, everyone's like, yeah, I got like a, like a smoke grenade, or I've got like a sandbag gun, non-lethal. I come in with just like a full automatic, just guns a-blazing, laying people down, never part of the plan, just mowing people over. And it's like halfway through the heist, everyone's like, what the fuck just happened? This was not what we planned on doing at all.
I could see you being the muscle too, though, John, like the enforcer. Like you pin the bank teller up, like, hey, give us your fucking money. But back to me, I also
couple
see like
pistol whips.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
pistol whip for sure. I could also see back to the town again. You know, in the beginning when Claire sees Jeremy Renner's tattoo in the beginning, that could be me. Like someone sees my tat or something like that.
Something
He had a South Carolina tattoo on his bicep.
yeah.
Yeah, so just saying.
You're
like,
not careful, so like it's like one little slip, and we think we're scot
we're in the
free.
good.
Yeah.
Yep. Connor leaves a glove behind, DNA all over it. Something very avoidable, and you just fuck it up.
I like how our two guys in the front lines are both loose cannons.
This is already this is
We're never
picking
gonna
up nice. Well, this is like this is what I envision, because I feel like this happens a lot. Like it's similar to what you said. Like someone's a loose cannon, we go in, and you know, one of the hostages or bank people, like customers, starts running their mouth, and either John or Connor just pops them in the head, and then
not having it.
That's when we're like, whoa. One of us is like, dude, like you said no one's gonna get hurt. Like what the fuck? And then like you start having a change of heart, and you're like, I don't know, man. Like this isn't what I signed up for.
Dude was asking for it.
That's when shit just goes south.
He was staring at me from the second we entered the bank.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's interesting about the roles that everybody picked? I mean, we don't have a Danny Ocean. Nobody picked Ben Affleck. We're all just like the subsidiary characters.
Yeah, I wasn't ready to take that on. Too much liability. People relying on you to go straight in there and get the job done. I'm there for a little bit of fun too. I need some action in my life.
We're more of just a seasoned crew with all roles in their spots, just waiting for a leader to come along and take us to glory.
Yeah.
I like that. And the
You're
thing
that person, let us know.
Kyle, as you use a tech guy, I like that because I do well with instructions. I need to be told what to do in a heist.
Mm-hmm.
And I trust your judgment.
Well, that's really
Kyle,
important.
When you say you're the tech guy, are you going to be the one, you know, disarming the alarms and finding a way for us to get into the safe, or what's...
Wow, so like the demo guy. I actually really like that role a lot. That way Didiano can use his actual life
Matt
experience.
can't be the tech guy.
Right, in terms of that. And then I transitioned to demo. If I can handle explosives, that's super fun. Like I put the charge on top of the van that like blows up in a perfect square, and we all just shoot in from there. That would be awesome.
And I think you and Matt should be the ones with like the blueprints of the bank.
Yep.
You have to map out. We got to time it too. So one of you guys have to be. I could even be in the car in a walkie-talkie with like a stopwatch, or I gotta be like, all right, listen, like a minute and a half in, like we gotta start moving in. Like, kind of give you guys benchmarks.
Yeah, that's a key part of the heist too, is researching police response times. In every heist movie, every crew knows exactly how long it takes for the police to get there. Whether it's 3 minutes, a minute and a half. One of the most important parts of the heist is managing the local police's response time, and we could definitely take care of that for you.
So on that, I came into this kind of mapping out what you need to do to pull off the perfect heist. Yep. And that's one of the major things. Be vigilant of your surroundings. Study the site months in advance. Yep. Know the weaknesses of the workers, their habits, when they're going on lunch breaks, who's, coming and going, schedules. You need to know all of that. Got to have the points of entrance. And then again, I know we're going to reference it a lot in this podcast, but again, back to the town, you need to know their families. Like when they talk about the Lindas in the guys that are what is it at
the floral shop?
No.
Not Madison Square.
Red Sox Stadium. Fenway. Yeah. The guys that are in the bank room. The Lindas want you to come outside. You gotta know everybody's family too.
So we're robbing a bank, not a casino. I think casino's way too tough.
So here's an interesting statistic. You look at movies, and I Googled so much about robbing banks that I'm just waiting for the phone call.
Me too.
Well, it just hit me like 2 minutes ago as I'm talking. Like, are we incriminating ourselves here? Is this going to be, are we all going to get calls from
big time
local police or FBI?
So here's the interesting statistic. you look at a lot of the money that people are stealing, and it's always bank robbery. Bank robbery is a very sexy crime. You look at the Chris Pines. It's people have been robbing banks in movies for decades,
centuries at this point.
in centuries. But does anyone have any idea of the average amount that a bank robber who robs a bank actually gets away with?
I'm gonna say not even that much. Maybe like 10,000.
I bet they don't
I'm
hold
saying
on
less
cash,
than
though.
1,000.
$7,500 is the average. Which good take, but between the five of us,
Good take.
I mean,
That's barely gas money.
Pennies. You got to be doing
Yeah, there's no way we can have benefits as
You
bank
got to be
heist.
doing like one of those a week.
That's not going to cover all our costs of like the van and the weapons.
you're taking it. This police scanner was $69.99. But here's the thing. So I was like, what kind of robbery are we talking about here? Because there's advantages to different types of heists. I mean, like a diamond heist. You look at diamonds; those all have serial numbers. People can track them. You're going to be selling them on the black market for less than they're worth. You look at art. Very specific clientele to whom you're actually selling the art to, but massive scores in the art stealing game.
Wow.
Banks, as I mentioned, not super high, but just an interesting take. I don't know which angle we're going to go with.
They stole
Just
one
steal
of Da Vinci's
so.
paintings last night, by the way. There's like a blackout in Spain or whatever. They broke into the museum. They started stealing a bunch of art. So now's our time.
Let's steal the Mona Lisa. Let's steal
I
them.
was not in Spain yesterday. I was not there. I'm in Texas. Not there.
We were not in Spain, for the record.
No.
Government.
You have to make sure to put hypothetical in the title of this video.
Yes.
Just start and end every
Okay.
statement with quotes.
I think we should probably stick with the bank, but we're not cowards. We're gonna get much more than $7,500. Like we're not pussies.
I have an idea.
Let's hear
We're
it.
going to steal the Declaration of Independence.
I could also see us getting like real cocky real quick. Like we're gonna start out with petty theft, but we're gonna get a few quick ones under our belt, and then we're going for the Declaration of Independence. Like that's that's not a joke, right? It's
Absolutely.
like, okay, this $7,500 isn't cutting it. Let's steal something huge.
Or like the Liberty Bell. Like just something outrageous.
There's nothing that tells me this crew is going to be able to stay humbled and grounded. Our heads are going to be huge, and we're going to feel invincible for.
So did you know the podcast you sent me? I listened to it. Apparently, like bank robberies are not as crazy as movies make them seem to be. You can kind of just like walk in with like ski mask and a gun and be like, "Give me your fucking money," and leave.
Yeah,
Like
so
because they said that the people in the bank, they don't want anyone to die, so that's why they just let you go, and then the cops just eventually come. Now, have any of you ever seen Place Beyond the Pines?
Yes, I
Great
love that
movie.
movie.
good one.
Yeah, Gosling pulls those stunts off like by himself so casually. He just leaves on his dirt bike. And I kind of imagine how that's how bank heists kind of go. And if we were to do a bank heist, would the truck, like you all three of you, would you want to be like far in the distance so me and John could just like drive into the back of the truck while you're like hiding in the woods, and you drive away as the cops are going the opposite direction?
So
Like
first
he
off,
does.
I think
I love that.
I think it's great to use an example where the robber gets shot to death. So really good call on that example. But I on that same podcast that I sent you, one of the things they mentioned was that, and I started thinking about it, but in any case, they say that you see all these things in movies. The people that are getting robbed in those banks have seen the same movies you've seen. All right. So they're going to expect a guy in a fast, beefed up car to get away. No, you want to have kind of an inconspicuous car. Maybe park it behind the store across the street. Don't run out of the store, kind of walk casually. So he touched on all these things that he was doing. And this is a guy who robbed 30 banks, just for some context for those who didn't listen to it.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, I mean, he had it down to a science. I mean, he got caught, but 30 is a good run.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's actually in all these movies, it happens every single bank heist. The town really goes the extra mile with it, but they steal two cars. Like they'll have one parked 10th Street,
yeah.
and then they drive off, set the
Switch.
original car on fire, and then they get away. So that's a must-have as part of our heist for sure.
Yeah, and I think he's right about like an inconspicuous. Maybe instead of buying, we'll just buy like a couple of 2003 Ford Tauruses or something.
Yeah.
I like a Dodge Town and Country. That is actually one of the sneaky getaway vehicles in the town. That's the one that they take to go to the SUV at the end. As an owner of a Dodge minivan, those things got some get up. You could really maneuver that thing. It's got front wheel drive. It's way faster than you think. Very maneuverable. A minivan, very inconspicuous, but it's also got some kick to it. So I like that.
So, John, are we the only people in the heist crew like prepared to shoot other people? Like all other three of you, are you not shooting people for us? Will you shoot someone, Kyle?
I could absolutely kill someone and feel nothing.
We got
that,
another,
yeah,
we got
I
another
have
one.
no problems doing that. And it's like in Heat anyway. If one of you guys kills somebody, that's a murder 1B. The rest of us have to be ready to rock and roll, and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if we're killing other people. So if one person gets shot, it's fucking on. So absolutely.
So I think what we should do once again, we're assuming this is a bank, John. Once we have everyone like on the ground, we're in the safe. I feel like you have, because you're a running back. We're a running back, always a running back. You don't fumble. You're the one that handles the money leaving the bank. Like or no, you don't want that responsibility.
I was always plagued with ball security issues throughout my career. So I don't know if I want that type of risk. I put the ball on the turf every now and then.
I mean, I was a receiver who couldn't catch, but I also never fumbled, so I'll carry the money then. I got it. But I also say why you should carry it because I'm the one who's prepared to die. So
In most heist movies that involve banks, though, there's also like a scene where they're all wearing suits coming out of the bank, each with like a duffel bag on their arm, and they're just nonchalantly walking like businessmen with a hockey bag full of mind your own business. Definitely spread out the money carrying a bit.
Yeah.
at the town, right before Jeremy Renner dies, he's the only cop when he has just that massive bag walking in the total opposite direction.
I love the part after they pin him down behind that mailbox where they're like, "Put your gun down, you got 30 seconds." And there's a pause, and he's just like, "Fuck you."
It's so funny.
So Boston.
Fuck yo.
I still don't like how Ben Affleck was the only one that lived. He didn't deserve to live. That was bullshit. Just get a quick off tangent there.
Yeah, I did want him dead just for the sake of poetic justice in the movie, but it's fine. Great movie.
Oh, the best. So what? Yeah,
I was gonna say, so I came into this kind of more all along the lines of how I would pull off the perfect heist, not necessarily my my role, but kind of some quick and easy steps to follow. I won't belabor the points, but first thing you have to do, fall off the map. 6 months minimum, no credit cards, no cell phones, social media, get off it. People need to question whether you exist or you're dead. People have to have that question in their head walking into this. So that's
check.
Step one.
Done.
Step two, major overhaul of the appearance. You got long hair, shave it. You got facial hair, shave it. Facial hair, grow it out, dye your hair.
Mustache.
Lose a ton. Mustache, beard, clean shaven. Gain
Sex
or lose
change.
a pound or two. Gain or lose a pound or two.
Whoa! You didn't tell me I had to die.
Yeah, come on, man.
I'm not calling you out. So we've already hit one of the other points. Become vigilant. Understand where you are, who you're stealing from, all that, the ins and outs of what you're doing. So next, and I think this is a major one, and I think people kind of look over this step. understand the tools you need to execute the heist. I think that's a big one. You can't get in there, realize you need bolt cutters, and you don't have them, and then all of a sudden you're just like, you're stuck. Like, well, we're halfway in. I've got nothing else.
It's awkward.
Yeah, right? Right? So no,
let's just head home. We'll try again tomorrow.
Wait, that's God.
And then just like 2 real quick ones. Understand the escape route. I think we already kind of covered that one. You need to know how the hell you're getting out of there. Sounds like Andy's going to take care of that for us. Trust your team. Big trust.
I trust
Big
this
trust.
team.
I think
This team.
you don't want any first timers. You need to understand. You don't want any untrustworthy felons in your group. Thieves steal from thieves.
Then it just turns into the Dark Knight, like when the Joker, once they get the money, he just kills everybody else.
Perfect
Me
example.
on
Perfect
fire.
example.
Underrated heist scene, that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Agreed.
And then, last but not least, you need the ability to adapt. So things go wrong, don't get crazy. Take a calm, deep breath. Figure it out. How are we going to adjust? Plan B, Plan C, Plan D. You need all of them ready to go.
You cannot panic. You actually took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, when you were saying like have everything mapped out and escape, you got to have like multiple. Like if I'm planning the escape routes, obviously you want to try to prepare and think of all scenarios in your head, but I'm going to have like plan A, B, C, and because you can't predict everything,
You can't
or how the cops will react or whatever.
try to predict the unpredictable.
I'll be honest, like if things go wrong, I think my go-to reaction is just going to be just to fire the gun off. Just maybe not even at someone, just fire a couple bullets up in the air, let them know we mean business.
Just let them know we're there.
Yeah. And then I'll try to like pistol whip someone first. Then like if I have to, I'll kill someone. Exactly.
Again, all theoretical. All theoretical.
All theoretical.
All this is
I'm
theoretical.
just imagining you popping up a couple rounds into the ground before you open the bank doors. Like, oh, safety's done. I got excited.
Shoots himself in the leg like Plexico Burris.
Flax.
Real quick though, John, that was a very impressive list.
Yeah, it was.
It's a list of a leader, even if you don't necessarily see the qualities.
Those were leader-like qualities. Like
I
it
think
seems like you have the C on your sweater now.
All right, fine, guys. I'll be the leader, I guess.
I
Fine.
think you just stepped up.
Yeah, we needed that. So what heist like movie do we associate ourselves with most? If we had to pick one.
Man, I fucking love Heat. Heat's my absolute favorite.
He's
Yeah.
amazing.
I was like doing homework for this podcast. I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch like all these heist movies, blah blah blah. I literally just watched The Heat 3 times in 2 days. It was fucking.
How crazy is that last scene? Well, not the last scene, but the actual heist.
that one, I love. With the second one, so I think that I always like do 3 heists in that movie. The first one, the first 5 minutes is like the best first 5 minutes of any movie ever. Just grabs you by the balls right away. Second heist is whenever Val Kilmer's just popping off rounds like Connor here. And then whenever he goes in to like kill the last guy, I like just do like a small mini heist because like that's his like a piece of unfinished business. But the first one is the most brilliantly executed. That's just like them just being like, holy shit, this crew knows what they're doing. So the first heist is my favorite there.
The one with Michael Rappaport.
Well,
No,
It was just called Heat.
Sandra Bullock and
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. No wonder I've never seen that movie.
No, it's
No,
with De
no.
Niro and Pacino.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer. This
All-star cast.
Melissa McCarthy headline. That's the first thing that popped up. I was like, God damn, what movie are they?
I like
that's
Melissa
the
McCarthy.
Heat.
She's the getaway driver.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh,
No,
God.
she's the eye
Okay.
candy.
Still never seen
That's
Heat.
also me.
Is that
You
back?
put the no. It's actually
good
like not. It's a popular movie, but I think people our age, it's not that widely known.
Okay.
I would say,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
do yourself
December
a favor
15th.
and watch that.
December 15th, 1995. Director Michael Mann.
Yep.
Screenplay, Michael Mann, box office, 187 mil. Not a bad day of the
Wow.
office.
There you go.
60 million budget, that's tripling your money up, and that's what we're trying to do out here.
Wow.
So Connor, I have a list too to kind of go off of what John said because I think
Let's
he
hear
had
it,
a lot of
Didier.
the same
Let's
points.
hear it.
Yeah.
So I think John, you did like a good job of looking at like the main tenets of things you got to remember, and I looked at kind of the points of strategy that you need to make a plan for. So the first is your timing, and Kyle, to respond to you, I think the town is just a perfect example. Or I don't know who said that, Connor or Kyle, but the town's a perfect example of like they bring you into the strategy, which is super cool. But looking at the timing in that movie, specific example is that the bank vault opens automatically at 8:15 a.m. and they know that.
That's
So
true.
kind of got to look at those dependencies. Second, based on the type of heist you're doing, you got to look at your entry method. Are you going to come down through the scaffolding? Are you going to go through the bank doors? In our instance, I imagine that's probably going to be the scenario. But again, that's timing based. Use of force. So the podcast that I sent Connor, the one thing that the 30-time bank robber said was like one of his main assets is his ability to just strike fear into the person that he needed to control in that bank. And I think his exact words were something like, I go into that bank, I'm King Kong. I'm running things, and things are going exactly how I planned.
I love that.
Again. Super cool. Dealing with the alarm. Got to deal with the silent alarm. We know there's one there. Where's the trigger? Where is it?
Where Kyle comes in.
Yeah. Exit getaway. Massively important. Definitely love the use of the switch. Andy, I thought that was a good point. And then inside the bank, the personnel, I think you got to find that one person you can exploit. Like in the town, he finds the vulnerable bank manager and uses her.
Claire.
Who is an absolute babe. No one ever talks about that.
Gorgeous.
Babe.
Sex scene.
But those are like my key points that I think you got to really think about when you're planning something like this.
Couldn't agree anymore.
We're not a tandem, John. Like we're just going through the front door. It's more practical.
The strike fear really resonated with me. I think I'm kicking the door in, just like you said, Connor, pop one or two into the ceiling, let everyone know that we're King Kong, and that's why we're here. We're here to strike fear, get the job done.
Yeah, and going back to Place Beyond the Ponds, again, not a great movie because he dies eventually, not the first heist though. Like he's such a beginner when he comes to his first heist. Like he parks his bike right outside the front door, like props the door open with like a rock, and like goes and runs in and like jumps on the front desk and like just grabs one bank teller by the shirt and be like, if anyone wants to fucking live, his voice like cracks, like get my fucking money. And so he does, like he just exploits the one person, just grabs him by the shirt, and that's what we need to do. Like, are you the shirt grabber?
Me?
Yeah, like you're going to be the one that intimidates the weakest link of the bank.
I think I'm bullying the overweight security guard is first thing I do.
Love it.
I'm gonna really intimidate him, let him know who the alpha in the room is, and I think he's the first one you go after. Then you go after the bank manager in the back, the one who always, for whatever reason, has a shotgun under his desk, because that's real life and people actually do that. So you got to go after him next. Don't let him get, any wild hair up his ass.
How do we feel about hostages as a group? That's an important question.
Are they hot? Can I fall in love with them?
Yes.
Then yes.
Walk until your toes touch the water.
The water.
Because I think that was one of Heat's big mistakes, was like the one guy's trying to get away. He like picks up like a 6-year-old girl and like starts like taking her as a hostage, turns around, headshot immediately. So I think hostages are actually kryptonite at this point. They only get in the way unless you kill them.
I'd have to agree with that. We're in the business of robbing banks. We're not here to collect hostages. It slows everything up. It needs to be in and out.
Yep. Yeah, that was Renner's idea, right? That was a wild card panic move.
Yeah, it's always out of desperation. It's never in the
I was gonna say
plan.
it's always a panic move. Yep.
Dude,
Yep.
sometimes the wild card knows what he's talking about. Sometimes.
Never.
See, they would have been perfectly fine in the town. Actually, I think they could have got a couple more robberies off if they didn't really take that hostage there. It was kind of unnecessary and just complicated things. Made their leader fall in love with the hostage and just ruined their crew forever. So,
Well, they would have pulled the Fenway one off if Blake Lively didn't blow the entire plan to John Hamm when she's in the hospital.
her nose.
She was so hot.
So hot.
She's still so hot.
Uh,
Her Boston accent is abysmal, but I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. I'm so fine with it.
It was pretty spot on.
it was trashy and hot.
My next question: what masks are me and John going into this heist with?
I was just thinking about this. I love when people wear like the pantyhose over their face, like in old school. Will Ferrell pulls up. He's like, "If you tell anybody, we'll fucking kill you." I'm just gonna have him home for dinner. I love the pantyhose.
Grabs like the Pringles or chips out of her bag on his way out.
Like an 80-year-old lady. But
You tell me when I'll fucking kill you.
Just thinking right now, I think we should just go like at those costume stores, like they have massive presidents like George Bush, Obama, Clinton.
Classic.
Class.
I
I
think
feel
that's
like when everyone's
perfect.
like in sync, like
Yeah.
if we all wore president's masks,
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
it's like our
Yeah.
signature.
Just an early
What
idea.
presidential mask do you think is least likely to be used in robbing a bank? If you had to pick a president.
He has to have an iconic head. You can't just be like Calvin Coolidge. Like nobody knows what Calvin Coolidge looks like.
Zachary Tyler.
I bet JFK probably isn't too likely. Because I feel like they're probably more recent,
Another
like
bad example, man.
Obama, Bush, Clinton. I bet JFK's not used that much.
Dude, all of your
Because
examples
that's
die.
what
Every
the one I
single one.
use.
I don't know.
Maybe Eisenhower if he has a mask.
Big Eisenhower guy.
The question is who is least likely to be used?
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't think you'd see a Washington robbing a bank, although it'd be ironic because he's on money. I mean, it'd be funny to see an FDR wheeling his ass into the bank.
Grover Cleveland, no one talks about him much. You put that on, I don't think anybody even knows who you are. Right? It's like a bunch of presidents and then this guy. Like, who the hell is that?
Well, yeah, like I don't think I even know what Grover Cleveland looks like.
I don't know what he looks like. I just know he's a president.
He's actually.
He was fat.
He was definitely fat. I know that
He's
much.
a watered down William Taft.
Exactly. That's pretty much how I'd describe him.
So one other thing I came in prepared to discuss were some of the top bank heists. Does anyone know any bank heists that have taken place?
Successful ones?
The town.
Well, not necessarily have to be successful.
So, John, this is what I spent a lot of my time looking at. I was looking at biggest dollar amounts ever, and the top
Which one did you
two.
come up with?
So actually, they're a lot smaller than you'd think. What would you guess is the biggest bank robbery in history? Because like, there's one that's at a normal bank robbery level, and then there's one that's astronomical, but it's a one-time one.
2 million.
Okay, so a lot of the movies range in the $1 to $2 million range, and that's pretty much the average, like, big score. Biggest score ever is in Brazil, $70 million in one go.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. It was rogue construction crew. They spent 6 months building a tunnel underneath the bank directly, finished over the weekend, took every single dollar that they had and got away. It was fucking awesome.
That's sick.
That's incredible.
And then the biggest one ever, kind of fluky circumstances, but whenever the invasion of Iraq happened, like 2003 or whatever, some crew went in and toppled Saddam Hussein's bank. He had bigger problems at the time, namely us. and they cleaned him out for $1 billion.
Yeah, I read that one.
That's
That
just karma.
man.
That's karma, though.
That is. But the Brazil one, I want to
That's
like
pretty
look up
sweet.
how they did that. That's incredible.
That's incredible.
That sounds movie worthy.
It does. I can't imagine that there's a movie. And then whoever England gets had for their money all the time. Like they're 13 of the top 15 heists. They're all in England. England banks, low security, high dollar amounts. That's every bank heist that's over $5 million took place in England. So I think
that's where we're headed. That's where we're headed.
Yep.
So, Kyle, I don't know if you came across this one. It wasn't a bank robbery, but you know the Dunbar armored cars?
Yes.
So a Dunbar armed robbery took place in 1997. Alan Pace was the leader. Basically, he was he worked for like the Dunbar's company in some facet. Him and 5 friends robbed the Dunbar facility for $18.9 million, but they would have gotten away with it. One of the accomplices got sloppy, sent like a ton of money to one of his buddies without removing like the ink pads. Thing went off. Everyone went down.
Wow.
Yep. Another one, and this is legendary. Movies were made after it. Characters named after him. D.B. Cooper. You guys remember this one? Remember this one? Yeah, I know you do. D.B. Cooper. November 1971, extorted $200,000 in ransom money, hijacked a Boeing 727, parachuted out. Some say he got away. Some say he died. I'll leave that up to your imagination.
Love that one. So I was also thinking that's an important part of the robbery. So a lot of these places, like it happened in the town, they had the youngest member or whatever worked at Viacom, and he was able to like tap into their network and help them out on the heist. The Dunbar guy working for Dunbar, jacking the Dunbar truck. What can you guys bring to the table from your work? So I work at a freight company. I have access to all kinds of 18-wheelers, any big trucks or whatever that we would possibly need for this getaway. Is there anything that you guys could scrounge around for at your work to help us out?
Well, my friend, I actually work at a bank.
It's an inside job.
I don't like the actual branch, but I'm sure I could get my hands on some information.
Get your
Hypothetically.
Oh yeah.
Key part of every bank though is having an inside guy who can help you out with some inside info. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm about just like the execution of our plan right now, because I do like the 2-car idea. I mean, that's just a must.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like that our first car should be me, John, and probably either Andy or Didiano. But you're waiting in the car for us as we go in casually, fire off a few bullets. Give us the fucking money! You go in, take the money, casually walk out. Because, again, like, you don't want to, like, run out because that draws attention. Granted, the entire thing's going to draw attention, but it's better if you just walk out. We walk out. We're going to say it's Andy, ready to go. Let's say you guys are 2 miles away, because you can't be too close. And 2 miles, that's short enough distance, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
2 miles? I don't want to run that far.
No, you mean on feet?
No, we're driving. Like your car, like the second car is 2 miles away.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
I wonder how like
guys are sitting waiting in the second car.
Yes. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you got a point.
Well, I wonder if it's like time. You know, like if you're in a really boring situation, an hour can seem like it's 3 hours. Like that's probably the longest 2 miles of your life. But I don't know what's an appropriate distance. I mean, in a city where you have blocks. Actually, now that I say that, Pittsburgh would probably be a really terrible place to rob a bank.
Yeah.
Bridges.
Just sitting there waiting to make a left turn. You're like, Jesus. You gotta
with within the last year, somebody did try to rob the one PNC bank right outside our building. I forget. We got caught like almost immediately, and that's what I was thinking. I was like, dude, if you were gonna rob a bank, would you really want to go to one that's like in the middle of downtown Pittsburgh? Like, he had no chance.
No chance.
No chance.
So we should probably like rob a bank in the suburbs, but the problem is there's probably not like that's where we're only getting like the $7,500.
Yeah.
What about like a rich suburb
Yeah,
like
I
a
feel like
Fox
it's
Chapel?
that. Well,
I
you
bet
remember
they got
that-
stacks.
I'm listening. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's if
I
we're going
like-
local, though.
There's
What did they
another
say?
movie I'm trying to think of where
No.
they're trying to pay
Matt
off
keeps
like
trying to say something.
Yeah. Yeah, Theo, please speak. You're what?
I'm just kidding. No, I want to go off of what John was saying. John, are you talking about that bank robbery movie that takes place in like dusty old Texas?
yes, they rob like 30 in 30 days or something like that.
Hell or High Water.
Oh, High
Yes,
Water.
that movie is
Dude,
sick.
Oh,
That's a great movie.
Yes.
That's
They're
a
like trying to
great
pay
movie.
off a mortgage or something like that. The bank stole from them, so they keep stealing from the same bank or something like that.
Well, that brings up a good point. So, and I may be getting a little ahead of myself, Connor. If you want to hold off till later in the conversation, let me know. But okay, say you get the big score. All right. What are you doing? Are you going like a legitimate route with that money? You can't be extravagant. Whatever way you cut it. If you
Yeah.
start spending money like a boss, I mean, red flag.
Mhm.
Because they're going to have some other information on you. That's a good point, John.
Yep.
The problem is too, like if you get like that big a score, it has to be the biggest rush in the entire world. It's like we're going to get tomorrow to like another bank.
I'd
So-
agree with that.
It's like the game. It's like gambling. Like you hit that like big long shot or big win that you had all the money on. It's like fuck. What's like the 7 o'clock game? So like you just want to keep going. And I mean, you definitely have to bury the money in your backyard for a little bit now. Like,
Invest in gold and silver. Buy a lot of gold and silver. Bury it.
Don sold me.
Just like Ron Swanson.
We could put a lot of it in Bitcoin. It's highly technical, I guess, but very tough to trace. It's anonymous. You can store a lot of wealth there, and I'm very capable of hooking that up.
But you
Crypto.
can't pay for Bitcoin with cash, right? So you'd have to find a
You
way to get
can,
it into
though.
your-
So they do have ATMs. We'd have to do a lot of runs, but you can run around the ATMs, deposit cash, and then put Bitcoin in your wallet. Just kind of like a reverse PNC, but they do have those.
Or hear me out. We put it all on red.
Wash
Well,
it in the
that's what- I
casino.
mean, you got to clean the money if you're going to use.
Yep.
I mean, if you're going to, you got to clean it somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a
Yeah.
big part. Strip
Mhm.
clubs. What is that?
Yeah.
Ocean's 11. They give all.
You have Andy's attention.
My ears perked
Fuck
up.
you have my attention too. Strip club done.
That's actually 21. It's not really a heist movie more than a counting cards movie. But they win so much money, they're just like, all right, strippers, we'll break you off 3%, go cash all this money in for chips, or vice versa. And then they just clean the money that way through a strip club. So there's very good ways to launder your money.
That's a great
Bad
movie,
ideas.
by the way. Great
Dry
movie. I
cleaners.
love
all
one of
cash
those.
business.
Yep.
Like an
What'd you
Asian
say, Dr-
cleaners.
Like a laundromat or a dry cleaner. All cash.
Yeah, laundromat.
Barber
Car
shop.
washes.
You know how much EJ's is
Barbershop.
pulling in? Does anybody go to EJ's?
I do.
Barbershop, yeah.
Great
I've been
cut.
to EJ's
Are
recently.
they
Great
still
cut.
cash only? They used to be cash only.
Still cash only. They raised the
Yeah.
prices though.
That's what I heard.
Didn't they get in trouble, or am I making that up?
I think you're making that up.
Okay. All right.
Pretty legitimate.
Okay. Fair. Isn't
I
there?
I feel like I could see them getting in trouble though.
Never mind.
Yeah,
Hypothetically, because I like EJ's, they give a good haircut. But I don't know.
We're trying to use them for our bank heist, so how clean are they?
We'll give them a couple of the shirts.
Whoa.
What's your shirt say, by the way, Andy?
The DM Sliders. It's my softball team. It's so lame.
No, it's not. That's a terrific. That's an all-time shirt. That is great.
So
It's just a little guy sliding.
wow, look at that.
It's pretty funny, actually. I approve.
So last point I have, and I'm surprised with all the Office fans we have in here that it's made it this far and we haven't touched on it yet. Dwight's heist of Tiffany's, his perfect crime. What are you doing?
What season's
Deep
it?
throating my water bottle.
I don't know what season it was, but basically Dwight's plan is he goes in, he breaks into Tiffany's. He doesn't rob any of the jewelry. He steals the chandelier. A woman comes up to him and tells him to stop. He doesn't stop. It's the daughter. It's Tiffany. I make love to her all night. I wake up in the morning. I escape in one of the cops' outfits. I tell Tiffany to meet me in Mexico. I don't go to Mexico. I go to Canada. I enjoy the cold. Basically, he's like, years go by. Years go by, and I get a postcard. It's my son. Tiffany had a son. He's like, he's the chief of police in New York. He goes, I write back to Tiffany. I tell her to meet me in Paris. I never go. She's never taken another lover. I go to Berlin. That's where I stash the chandelier.
I love that.
Guys, we made it this far.
John, I was waiting for the right time, and I'm really glad you brought it up because I couldn't have quoted the whole thing either. But that's like one of the
like 4 or 5 times today. I watched it like 4 or 5 times today, and I was literally like, I laughed just as hard in like the 5th one as I did the first one. He says it so funny. It's like he's just dead. He's like dead faced the entire time, and like he's actually planned it out in his head. It is hilarious.
It's in like one of those little side interviews they do, right?
Yeah.
Where he says like the entire thing, like a whole soliloquy. I do remember it now.
It's either like an opening scene or a closing scene, where it's just like 2 minutes of a quick interview with him.
See, like robbing a bank, like stealing a diamond or like expensive art, like that's cool as fuck. But no way in hell we could pull that off. Like bank, that's more logical. It just is. It just is.
I feel like
like,
anybody can rob a bank. Like you need to know someone or have some sort of really special talent or skill or network to rob something that's like diamonds or art or something like that.
Yes, yeah, you need a network. That's a very good point.
And I always just imagine like just scaffolding down with like all like the red lasers around the diamond, and like I would touch it because I'm a moron.
Connor, everyone would be like off doing their mission, and then you just see like Connor staring into one of the lasers, like
try and see how close I can get to touching it.
I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it.
Just like, oh fuck.
No, man, that's a great point too about our lack of a Rolodex. As a first-time crew, we don't know anybody in the business. I don't know any fences or what that really is. I know they portray like legal goods and whatnot, but we're in this alone until we can establish a reputation here, and we got to knock off a couple just us before we get the respect of the underground world.
So in town, John Hamm describes them as the not fucking around crew. Do we have a name like that?
Maybe the fucking around crew. I don't know, man. See their pants this first one.
The first timers, because we're first time bank robbers.
That would be funny, like on our 4th or 5th bank,
which we failed to rob.
I don't know. I'd have to think of a name. I'm not one just as like coming off naturally.
Yeah, the nicknames usually bestow themselves upon you yourself.
Another Office reference: the Overkill Killers.
You know what's an underrated part of the Home Alone movies? It's like a small part, but the signature of the guy flooding the houses that they rob. I think that's not talked about enough. That's a great piece of that movie.
And then that's funny because I was just thinking about that when I was thinking about the names, and then the second movie they become the Sticky Bandits. He puts the shit on his glove and he just starts like grabbing people's shit at the ice ring. He like takes kids' hats and gloves and shit.
He reaches in the Salvation Army bucket with just his sticky glove and reaches out with a handful of change.
Now, speaking of like hands grabbing shit, just totally off topic, like at your local hockey rink or arcade, you know, the claw. How many times have you successfully grabbed something from the claw? Any of you?
I did it like
Several hundred.
That's a
Really?
you're a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar.
I don't believe it. I might have one in my life.
I actually have a pretty good track record, and it's specific to. You remember the Pizza Hut that used to be in Monroeville on 22? It's like an architectural firm now.
Of course.
Killed it. Cleaned up at that Pizza Hut.
I may have one in my life. That's why they're an architectural firm.
I was gonna say, I think a lot of my numbers are at Smarty Arties on 286. They had a very easy machine.
Arties.
And then, but Rick's before it became a franchise. I forget what it was called, but it was like right kind of by
Pizza Pub.
Rick's Pizza Pub. They had a very easy claw machine there too, next to the Simpsons game.
Was when it was the Pizza Pub? It was on the other side of the street, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and a little bit further closer to mine.
They had wing night. They had Taco Tuesdays. They had everything. That place was sick.
I liked it more than Rick's. They fucked up, not sticking true to their roots.
But you know what? Sticking to their roots, they kept the seasoned popcorn, which is still mean.
Yes.
They did.
That
shit slaps. It was free, too.
Everything else on that menu, though, was I don't know. Rick's had the potential. Rick's, that's like a what could have been type situation, I feel like. It was a good location. I liked the venue. Food wasn't great. They had beer towers. Beer towers rule.
It's accessible one side of the highway. Which brings me to another great point. In your getaway, all right, you're leaving whatever bank you rob, right? Good segue. Whatever bank you rob, and I'm basing a ton of what I heard off of this guy who's the experienced 30-time bank robber. He says he would rob banks in Los Angeles close to exits on the highway that had multiple points of exit. So if you had 2, 3, or 4 ways to leave, I mean, 25% chance of them even figuring out which way you went, which is huge.
Yeah. Didn't he kill his dad too? Or he like choked his dad out or something, wasn't it?
No, his dad was super abusive. So
that's what it was.
When he was talking about going into the bank like King Kong, he's like, I knew how to like terrorize people because that's how I grew up as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
He was very casual about this too. Like I was very impressed with this guy.
Pretty
I'm gonna have to listen to this. This sounds fantastic.
It's only like 30-minute pod, but it's good. It's real good.
But and Pacino's like going around like telling all the other detectives like why this crew is so good, and he says they picked the getaway spot right by 2 freeways. They have no idea where they went, so that's also a huge part of the escape route. Good point, Didiano.
I like that. It makes total sense.
Now, do you think 5 is a good number for a heist crew, or like what? You think that's too many, just right? Like could add maybe 1 or 2 more?
I think any good criminal enterprise, you got to keep your team small, circle tight. I think 5 is probably about as far as you can get.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't go any higher than 5.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think you got to have 3 in the bank. 1, you're a lunatic. 2, there's still the chance that you don't communicate as well. But 3, I think you got all your bases covered. You got a guy cracking the safe. You got a dude doing crowd control. And then you have someone intimidating everybody in the bank.
So crowd control Matt's in the bank with me and John. So that's the 3. That's the 3.
So okay. So then me and Kyle in the car.
Yeah, so I'll be like the guy in the back of the van on the comms with Andy, just kind of relaying information as we see shit in there to you guys. So that works out perfect.
Plus, if you're in that, you can be outside the bank, but we still have the capability for the switch if we have 2 people outside the bank.
Yep, absolutely. And I can still kill somebody from the van. I have no problem doing that.
And Kyle's gonna be the guy, like, he hears it, like, the silent alarm's been triggered, and then he like finds a way to like go in there and like turn it back off, and it's like it never even happened.
So who is going to play or be, like, if you had to pick somebody, the cop that has a personal vendetta about all of our hits and is after us?
We're talking like actors here, correct?
Anybody in life who you want to play it, because I think this is the perfect showdown for me and Aaron Rodgers finally, where he's the cop after this gang.
Should he still be alive, Mr. Duffy after Giunta? That man had a vendetta against Giunta.
He's too lame to be a cop, though. Like, no one can take him seriously as a cop.
It's funny you went back to high school because I was thinking Officer Buzz.
Officer Buzz.
Yeah.
Mr.
We
Duffy,
would smoke his ass.
Mr. Duffy would be like the bank teller that Andy would just like unnecessarily just pistol whip the fuck out.
He'd be like, oh, there's Giunta. Did you bring your chicken tenders and your French fries, fat boy?
He was the meanest man to Andy.
He like graciously
Giunta.
for us, and as we're leaving, Andy just like whips him in the head, maybe even shoots him in the foot. It's like, dude, what are you doing? It's like, it's been a long time coming.
Giunta, I thought your leader told you to lose a couple pounds for the heist. Not gain a couple. The fuck, Mr. Duffy?
Duffy.
Dickhead. R.I.P. Am I right?
Yeah.
R.I.P.
No, Officer Buzz. He's a good. I have issues with Buzz. I think he's a piece of shit.
Oh,
We could
man.
easily outsmart him. He wouldn't even say
That's
anything.
what I was gonna say. There's no way Buzz can hang with us. Even if us five are doing a heist for real, we would. And Buzz was the guy. We're robbing that bank, no problem.
Yeah.
We could go in without masks. Like, it wouldn't even matter. That guy's a fucking idiot. Would not even matter. I'll give him my fucking ID and be like, yeah, Buzz, here's the guy robbing the bank. He wouldn't do fucking anything about it. Fuck that man. He's a dick.
Wow.
Like,
I never had any issues with him.
Yeah, he's always
No,
super
we
nice
hate
to
him.
me, but I
Yeah.
can't stop laughing.
Yeah,
I think he's-
Buzz, in case you're watching this, I don't have issues with you, but we would bank rob circles around you. That's all.
Yeah.
Circles.
So who would you want being, if we're talking in an actor context, the lead cop on the investigation chasing us? Because, I mean, we keep going back to The Town, but John Hamm is one of the greats. I mean, Pacino and Heat, I mean, he's untouchable. Talk about a critically acclaimed actor, but the role that Hamm plays in The Town is close to what you want to achieve in life.
He really
Like a
he
good.
kills it in that.
It can't be someone. I don't want to say it can't be someone too handsome because John Hamm's too handsome, but it can't be someone too famous. Like Leo DiCaprio could never be the cop. He's just. He's
Who
not.
would you rather? Who would you rather be the lead cop, Will Ferrell or Adam Sandler?
I could probably take Sandler more seriously as a cop.
Oh, well, it looks like they came through the front door.
Shabadoo, shabadoo. Oh wait, you know who my favorite? I just saw my favorite cop in a movie is Willem Dafoe in Boondock Saints.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
Nice.
he is fantastic.
Or is he too old to be a cop now, though?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say I want to reuse him, but I just made me think of that.
Yeah,
Maybe someone like that who's kind of like weird and like he's very creepy almost. Puts on his headphones, listens to classical music, and just
That's the coolest.
maps out the whole scene.
Is Rami Malek cop worthy?
It's not bad.
Just throwing names out. Just throwing names
Doesn't move
out.
the needle. So you want someone who's not too famous? You're saying?
Okay. I got him. So I had to Google it. But here it is. David Morse. Do you guys know who that is?
Yeah,
No,
he's the guy that invented the code, right?
Yes, the code. Exactly. Invented Morse code. This guy.
Oh,
Looks like
yeah. Isn't he
Ryan
from like
Quinn.
one of the CSI shows or
Yeah,
something
he looks
that?
like Mr. Quinn.
He's from Disturbia.
Oh, the neighbor in Disturbia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
That looks like a cop who gets very frustrated with us.
That is a
He's
cop
kind of a hard ass
I've ever
too.
seen it.
But that's good too because like he's probably good at it, but not good enough. Like we're gonna come out on top in this movie if he's the bad guy.
For
Yeah,
sure.
he'll put up a good fight.
He's an alcoholic. Like, he's got family issues. His wife hates him. His daughter hates him. He's
He
never
focuses too much on
home.
work.
Yeah,
He's probably already divorced. Like he's probably
Oh,
already divorced. He's divorced.
or like on the verge of divorce. Like he uses his work as like he's even a little crooked. Like he uses work to like escape his life. Like he stops beating his wife so he can go beat villains. You know, that type of story.
Yep.
Or
No. I like that.
or we could just say fuck it and splurge a little on the budget. Let's just get like fuck, I just totally blanked on who I was gonna say. So never mind, we're going with that guy. I just had
so fun because I can see the end right now for us where like he starts like making up with his wife and like kind of working his way back towards him, and then he's like, all right babe, just like one more, just got to get these guys, and then we fucking kill him in the last type.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson. Woody
Yes!
Harrelson.
I was thinking the same thing. He's like
Oh.
in True Detective, not a robbery cop, but he's like the guy who's a bad person. You know, he's cheating on his wife, but you kind of want to root for him because I totally agree
He's
with
a
you. I think that's
loser.
a pick. Yeah,
I'm scared of Woody
Talk
Harrelson.
about Babes. The girl he cheats on his wife with, and that.
Oh yeah, that
massive cans.
like Alex. I
Dude,
can't even pronounce her
Alexander
last name.
Yeah.
Yeah, her.
Dude,
Her.
she's smoking.
Unfair.
I like that though. Woody would be a good one. I like John's would be a good one too. John's would be cheaper.
Cheap.
With the payoff for Woody.
Yeah.
And Woody, I'm just scared to go against. I have so much respect for Woody.
He also played a cop in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I think that's the name of the movie.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
He dies in that. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert! Holy shit!
I did like that movie though.
You spoiled that. You spoiled Place Beyond the Pines by saying that he dies. I mean, what next?
Gosling's like barely in the movie though.
I know, but you don't expect it. I like that.
No, I expected his ass to die so fast.
No.
I did
He's
like
the main
that.
character.
I feel like that movie probably should have gotten more recognition than it did. I feel like it's kind of a, like underrated. Like it's got a good cast. It's him, Coop, Gosling, him, Cooper.
Ray Liotta? Is that Ray Liotta?
Ray Liotta's in it.
Ray
I
Liotta.
I believe Mahershala Ali's in it too. He's got an Oscar too. It's a good movie.
Love him.
I hate the fucking kids in it though. Fuck them. Well, it's just
I hate kids.
it's Andy's movie theory. All kids in movies suck.
Every one of them.
Right. That's reasonable.
It's true. Wait, Andy, did you hear
Every movie sucks.
our show with Ward? How I said the most unrealistic part of Jurassic Park is that it's not rated R because more people don't die. That's the craziest part of Jurassic
Yeah.
Park. Not that there's dinosaurs running around. Is that there's fucking. It's not rated R. Like, how did that fucking rat kid didn't die from the raptors is beyond me. Fuck off.
Those idiot kids, they wouldn't survive 5 minutes in that park, let alone a whole 8-hour shift.
Jurassic Park.
As half a leg just like hopping to the door so slowly. That raptor he has him ripped up in 30 seconds.
He should have died when he climbs the electric fence and gets fucking electrocuted. He falls 15 feet.
Falls off of it. Yep.
We can only be so lucky.
Do you think you guys could survive in Jurassic Park?
Nowhere. No.
I bet I could.
I would have been like Newman from Seinfeld. That would have been me. When he gets his Jeep
Dude,
stuck in the mud and that,
Fuck that dinosaur. I hate that dinosaur.
that little thing spits in his face.
Yeah, like that.
He screams. He
I hate
screams like a
that.
pansy in that Jeep that he's in. I can hear the scream right now. He's it's awful.
That would actually be me.
That scene like actually creeps me out. I don't like that scene. I don't care for one bit. Well, it feels like we kind of didn't have like we discussed what you need to do to pull off a heist. I feel like we didn't really have a definite plan because we don't want to get arrested. Government looking at you, but it was a good conversation.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I'm on my in-private browser for this just in case, so they can't trace any of this anyway.
The framework is there, fellas. Like, we have the crew is there, the masks are there, the roles are there. We're going to pull off some bank heists.
If we know better than to put everything on the internet. Like, we're going to clearly meet up and then talk about it in person with no records of it. So, we're not, I mean, we're rookies, but we're not idiots. Like, we know what we're doing. So do you want to summarize anything, or are we good to go?
Does anyone have any takes? Just takes about anything. Matt, I know you have a take just about anything in life. It could be sports, fashion, food, politics, but don't do politics. We don't like politics. Andy's mustache. You have 0 takes.
I'm not a big hot take guy. I think
it doesn't have to be a hot take. It can just be a standard take, like the sky's blue.
I think it's like I'm just happy to be here. I don't have any other words. This has been a good experience. Thanks for having me.
You're here because I have another pod idea for you specifically with another member who's previously been on that we'll talk about off air.
Matt, while you're here, I apologize for you not being invited to Kyle Day.
An airplane?
Kyle, no problem. I was disappointed, but at the same time, I think I missed a Kyle Day in between this one and the last one I was at. So
you did. Okay, good. I'll make sure to tag you in the tweet next time.
Okay, good.
I don't have any takes, Connor, myself.
John, I know you're coming off of the hottest of hot takes. From
the ice cream. I'm still over the ice cream take.
I'm still shook by it. Did you hear the take, Matt?
I've listened to a number of your episodes. I'm not familiar with this.
John,
take.
He said it. You're going to think it's a hot take, which it is, but he was very genuine about it, and it shook me and Kyle to our cores. He said that ice cream sucks.
Oh, my God. I was hoping I agreed with him just to blow your mind, but I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that ever.
It's literally
so, what do you mean?
So overrated.
Is it like people who don't eat mushrooms because they don't like the texture? Like, what is your?
Not a texture thing at all. It's not. I just think it's so completely overrated. Like, people are like, oh my God, we just had dinner. Let's go to get ice cream now. It's like, I've never once in my life been like, dude, ice cream sounds so good right now.
That sounds of disgust is killing me.
I probably do what you just said like once a week. I'm like, oh my God, we should have blizzards. Like, I have ice cream in my freezer right now. I was gonna go get some after this pod.
It does nothing for me. It does absolutely nothing.
And this is coming from me who's lactose intolerant. So as soon
I
as
know.
I eat it, I'm going to shit my brains out.
Yeah,
it's that good.
Were you not a dessert person? Because that.
I don't like sweets.
I guess I can understand that.
Again. It's not that I don't like sweets. Like, give me cheesecake, fucking eat it. Chocolate chip cookies, I'll eat it. But like, I'm never again like after a meal like, I really need something sweet right now. Like, that thought never crosses my mind.
Did you grow up with like a healthy relationship with food?
Yeah, I thought I did. I think I still do. It's just like candy, like I don't like pop. I don't like anything too sweet. I don't like it.
That's fair.
What are your favorite pizza toppings, John?
I've heard.
My favorite.
It's crazy, Signal. Yeah, like you get 3 pizza toppings for your ideal pizza. Go.
Mushroom, pepper, sausage.
It's respectable.
What
It's
kind
respectable.
of peppers?
What kind of peppers? Like red, green, yellow peppers. Not like banana peppers.
Like
Like a
bell
Samantha.
peppers.
Bell peppers. Yeah, bell peppers.
Why not spicy peppers, you little bitch? Oh, it's too spicy for me.
I don't want a spicy pizza. How about that?
You're a coward then. Well, fellas, this was a fun episode.
Wait, I have a take.
What? No, Andy's got take. He's got his take.
It's not that hot of a take, and you actually mentioned it earlier. I want to put this out for the viewers, and I'd also lobby for this to be one of our pros and cons is kids in movies. Like, I mean, there's probably some exceptions, and like I wish I had prepared for this and made a list, but like 90% of kids in movies are so fucking annoying and usually don't serve any purpose. You made a prime example of the Jurassic Park. The old Jurassic Park kids fucking suck. The new Jurassic Park movie kids, even worse. Some of my least favorite people. Charlie from the Santa Claus, he's one that stands out as one of the worst in the world. He's a whiny fucking bitch. I hate him. And then Santa Claus 2, he thinks he's a hard ass.
He's the worst in Santa Claus 2.
Can I provide
the gym? He's like, I'm rebelling because my dad doesn't hang out with me enough. He's always in the North Pole. It's like, dude, your dad's Santa Claus. Fuck off. Like, there's so many. Like, I want you to, from now on, when you watch movies, pay attention to the children because it's so rare that you'll enjoy them.
After this, I'm done. But I'll throw out the rare one. What's the I See Dead People? That kid.
Haley Joel Osment.
Haley Joel Osment.
Okay, so here's actually, and I don't want to hold us up here, but I think there's a difference between child actors who are starring in the movie and the secondary characters. And here's a great example of a secondary character who really sticks in my craw. You know the kid who's like way too good at singing in Step Brothers, and he's singing. Perfect example. I hate that kid. Right now, you know what? God. I hope that you had an accident that prevented you from working as an actor after that movie, like on the premiere day.
Dude, that's a great.
That kid sucks.
Yeah, you actually nailed it because
he's got that cocky look in his face.
Shut up.
Yeah. I hope he gets bullied at school. I hope he hates his life. That's a very good point. I'd say it's primarily secondary characters.
Yeah.
Like, it just pisses me off.
We can definitely add that to the against, Connor. I have no issues with that one.
It's been added. My point,
cool.
You could even take it the extra mile and just go kids. It doesn't even have to be kid actors. All kids are the same way. It's just that we get to see them on camera. That's all it is.
The point about Charlie and the second one is when they have like their take your parent to work day, and he has like that bullshit emotional ass talk with his dad. He's like, everyone's bringing their parents into work, but I can't tell anyone what my dad does, and he has the best job ever. It's like, shut the fuck up.
He's such a loser.
He's like breaking into high school and like graffitiing all over the gymnasium. Like, what a cocksucker. He's the worst.
Douchebag.
He's actually one of my least favorite.
See, I hate him more in the second one than I do in the first. Don't get me wrong. The first one, he's a dork, and it would be a better movie without him. But the second one, because he's like hitting puberty, it's like, dude, you're a loser.
It's tough. The first one, he's just like such a whiny, ungrateful douche. Like, he goes to his dad's for Christmas, and Tim Allen's trying his best to make it a good Christmas Eve dinner. He fucks up the turkey. Like, sorry, the guy doesn't cook turkey all the time. He doesn't know what he's doing. They go to Denny's. He's trying to like make the best of it, and he's just like, "Can I have chocolate milk?" And she's like, "Oh, we're out of chocolate milk." He's like, "Regular milk's fine." Like, dude, it's just so. Someone needs to teach him to just some manners. He pisses me off.
Regular milk's fine. Like it's the end of the fucking world.
Yeah. Come on, your dad's having a hard time. Like, cut him some slack. Turkey.
Well, fellas, it's fun. Let's do this again. Episode 14 in the books. We'll see you, I don't know, maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday for episode 15. Matt, we'll have you back again soon. John, Andy, we'll see you guys both again as well. Kyle, later, fellas.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, man.